Chairman. Good morning, gentlemen. Nice to be with you. Now, when I finish, I'm sure you will have questions for me. But there's one that I just cannot answer, and that is why. Why would anybody approaching their dotage set off to walk 3,000 odd kilometers through some of the least developed countryside in Africa? I don't know. It just seemed like a good idea. With hindsight, it was a messy and protracted form of suicide, but I'm still here. So let me introduce you to my river. Known throughout the world as the mighty Zambezi. It starts in the northwest corner, the northwest corner of Zambia, near a little place called Munilunga. Goes into Angola for 240 kilometers, comes back into Zambia, heads due south through Barotseland before turning east and forming the borders with Namibia, Botswana and Zimbabwe. Goes over the Victoria Falls, through Lake Kariba, and then into Mozambique. In Mozambique, it has Lake Cabora Bassa to get through, and then it arrives at the Indian Ocean at a little place called Chindi. Chindi is about 400 years old, wonderful little old town. And for decades, well, for centuries, it's been regarded as the start and finish for any Zambezi exploration. So that was my destination. But you know, one of the most amazing parts of the Zambezi for me was the source. When you consider this river is over 2 kilometers wide in places, and it starts as a tiny little spring in the roots of a masasa tree. And it was absolutely mind-boggling to see it. But at that stage, my mind was boggled anyway. I was so scared. I had volunteered myself for this. I was too old. I wasn't particularly fit at that stage. I was when I finished, I promise you. And I wanted to pull out. And the night before the start, we weighed my backpack. It weighed 34 kilograms. Now I had to carry this 3,000 odd kilometers. It's fine for young men wanting to join the Marines or the SAS, but for a 67-year-old, as I was then, it was murderous. As I put it on my back, my knees buckled, and I thought, Jesus, I've got months and months and months of this thing. And strangely enough, 7 years later, I've still got calluses on my back from that ruddy backpack. But I was committed. For the first time in my life, I had sponsorship. I was being sponsored by a firm called Cowbell, who, believe it or not, manufacture Irish powdered milk in Zambia. This is a funny old world. So, I had people following me from all over the world. My daughter set up some internet rubbish, and everybody was waiting for me to go. And I was totally committed, so off I went. And you know, way back in the 1920s, that wonderful American sports writer, Damon Runyon, he wrote, "The loneliest place in the world is a boxing ring when the first bell goes." Now, I've been in lots of boxing rings, and it's lonely. I always dreamed of them until that day at the source of the Zambezi. I was the loneliest person in the world, believe me. And people would say to me, "Where are you going?" Now, trying to explain the concept of the Indian Ocean to people who've never been out of their little part of rural Africa was too much for me. So I just said I was going to Mozambique. One young man, and I told him this, he said, "No, sir, you're lying to me." I said, "No, I'm not, I'm going to Mozambique." And the most common reaction to my comment was total laughter. "You can't be going to Mozambique. Your house on your back, you're a very old man, you're going to Mozambique on foot." I was going to Mozambique. You know, wherever I went, I was followed by children. Most of them had never seen a white face before in the 21st century. And they'd follow me for miles. You could hear them whispering to each other, "What is it? Where's he come from? Where's he going? Why has he got that thing on his back?" And on a walk like this, you hurt. You get very tired, sore, and irritable. And every so often I'd turn on, "Oh, I'm gone!" And they run screaming into the bush. And 2 minutes later, "Where do you think he's going? Who is he? Where's he come from?" And really, they were rather lovely. Before I left, I had done very little actual research. I've done a lot of silly little adventures, and I find that if I research the possible problems beforehand, I'd be too scared to go. So I've done very little research. But I thought to myself, it's a river, damn it. I know there's no towpaths, but I'll always be close to water. Water, a litre of water weighs a kilogram, and I couldn't afford to put that in my back. And when I actually got back to the river itself, at Chavuma, it wasn't quite like I had imagined in my silly little dreams. You can try and get through that. Bad enough without a pack. With a pack, it's almost impossible. But within probably 40 minutes of getting onto the plain, the path became a stream. The water was up over my shorts. The grass underneath was all tangled and I couldn't see where I was going because the water wasn't exactly clear. So I fell a lot. I drank a lot of that water. It took me 3 days to cross the plain. At night there was nowhere to sleep. I had to try and find the driest spot I could find. There was no way to make a fire. This is actually at the end of the trip when I thought to take a photograph. But most of the time there was nothing in the way of firewood. And I don't know what kept me going. Possibly the thought that it's got to end sometime. And eventually I came out off the plain. I had leeches, which I've wandered Africa for years, but I've never had leeches before. And I know you're supposed to burn them off, but I just pull them off. Yeah, horrible things. And I came up, this was August, so I thought the water was long gone. I came off the plane, and a couple of days later, I met up with a school teacher. Told him what I was doing. He said, "How did you cross the Luena plain?" I said, "I walked." He said, "Sir, nobody walks on that plain until the end of September when the water goes." He said, "You were lucky. You must have suffered." I said, "I suffered." And I thought to myself, I've got through that. Things can't get worse. I was being horribly optimistic. Anyway, they took me into a world that I wouldn't have believed existed. It was a primeval world. Tiny little river, vast cliffs, hot springs everywhere, salt, natural salt licks all over the place, and total silence. You heard the occasional distant baboon, occasional distant fish eagle, but mainly it was silent. And had I seen a dinosaur coming the other way, it wouldn't have surprised me in the slightest. I felt as though I was in that era. So I had to keep walking on these rocks. And many of them were loose. You try walking for hours on something like that. I fell a lot. I was bruised, cut, I sprained my ankle. At night, there was nowhere to sleep. I couldn't even roll my mat out. But I had to keep going. I was in the middle of nowhere. 28th of August was my daughter's birthday. She was here in Cheltenham. And one of the things I'd been sponsored with was a satellite phone. So I thought, I better use it. So I rang her up. I said, "Dad, how's it going?" And I got all tearful. I said, "Not very well. I'm bruised, I'm cut, I'm losing weight, I'm sick, I'm fed up." She said, "Dad, stay where you are. I'll get hold of the sponsors and they can send a boat or a helicopter in for you." I said, "Babe, I have no idea where I am, so forget it." And I plodded on. plodded on for week after week. Everything was bare, there was no shade, and it must have been a good 50 degrees outside. And I've been walking with a pack on through that, at my age. But I had other worries apart from the heat. My mind was going. Half the time I didn't know where I was, what I was doing. My skin was, they're not bruises. Basically my whole body was like that. And I was told afterwards that it was scurvy. You don't hear scurvy nowadays. I've had scurvy. You know, the same lovely, simple people, the same sunsets, the same food. That was the bad part. And I was getting to the wildest part of the Zambezi in this modern day and age. And one evening, it sounds strange to get excited over poo in the road, but I got excited. Fresh elephant dung. Now, I am an elephant man. My business card tells people that. And I was getting to see an elephant. I hadn't seen one for months. And shortly after that, there he was. And we looked at each other and went our separate ways. And for the next few weeks before getting into Mozambique, it was wild Africa. And roadblocks of buffalo, and you can't go through them, you've got to go around them, or just wait for them to move. Lots of elephants. This lady, I was standing by a tree, with a camera in my hand, and she saw me and came across to investigate. Now, when I give talks about elephants, I do what we call a virtual reality walk. I say, if things go wrong, stand still. So, she's coming toward me. No problem, stand still. You tell everybody else to stand still. And she just came and came and came. And there's no telephoto lens or anything with that. It was taken from here, and she was there. And she sort of looked me over, decided I wasn't worth bothering with, and went away. But my heart went boom, boom. And of course there were plenty of these guys. They made bath time very interesting. You spend probably 5 to 10 minutes sitting up by the side just looking at the water, looking to see if there's anything untoward. Then strip off, jump in, jump out again, soak yourself down, jump back in again, take yourself off, jump out with a big sigh of relief. Probably took 2 minutes, if that. But when you're in that water, it felt a lot longer than 2 minutes. But I had these guys all the way along the lake, all along the river, so you get used to it. You know, Zambezi used to be famous for its man-eating lions. People often say to me, you can't sleep out, you'll be eaten. But in 292 walking days, 3,200 kilometers, I saw one lion, this guy. I fell flat on my face. We were only 14 kilometers from Tet, the end of the gorge. I fell flat on my face onto a rock, and my companions somehow managed to get a boat in there, call somebody to come and get the boat in, and they took me through to Tet. I was taking a clinic in Tet, where they put me on a drip for 5 hours, and told me to go and rest. They said it was just dehydration. And I went back to my wife's camp. I said, all right, I'll rest for 2 days and I'm going. The night before I was due to go, they were giving a little farewell party for me, and I was talking to somebody, and I blacked out. And they put me on another drip. I hoped they'd put gin in it, but they didn't. And they got hold of my satellite phone and went through the addresses on it, contacts. And they got hold of my daughter, fortunately. And they said, your dad is dying.